Hello, this is News Desk, and I am Samuel Kojo Brace. Coming up this hour, Labour Commission invites striking TEWU-GH members to the negotiation table. We engage some Labour analysts on the way forward to resolve this impasse. Also, Ghana's road sector drowning in a 21 billion cedis debt crisis, with the government owing contractors for completed projects.
They should check and do the road for us. We are quantity. Ama yitila no EBBA. And as I say, SNAI no yentimi emfanko.
We have details as commuters on Ofanko and Salem Road complain about the deplorable nature of the stretch. And we'll get you the latest on the originals of the National Science and Maths quiz. These and more, plus some business updates as well. Do stay.
17 units. Yes.
Well, in our first story, the National Labour Commission is set to meet striking members of the Tertiary Education Workers Union today in a bid to end days of an industrial action that has paralyzed some aspect of Ghana's educational sector. TEWU-GH is protesting its lack of representation on university councils across Ghana. Let's engage. Austin Game is a Labour consultant, and he's joining us with some insight on this matter. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, first off, when you saw this particular declaration of strike by the TEWU-GH, what did you make of it?
Very surprising that it happened that way, because it shouldn't be under any circumstance. It's not an issue for strike. It's an issue that can be easily resolved. Okay. And so I was amazed, particularly so from the university community. You should have known better. And this is not a matter that is traditionally a strikeable kind of thing, because the law is very clear, made clear provisions. The whole part 11 of the law, section from section 80, 79, indeed, all through made provision extensively as to how the processes should be. This is not an illegal thing they are doing. Far from that. The Constitution of Ghana permits that two people can form a union in any establishment. And that is for the purpose of freedom of association. So we lifted that aspect of it from the Constitution and expatiated on it into the parent law we are looking at today. And therefore, it's not a new thing too. It happened between, unions. NAT was there existing before NAGRAT came into being, before now consent teachers came into being. Yeah. So when they had problem, it was resolved, and we didn't have this kind of situation on our hand. So I'm a bit surprised that it happened that way.
But they argue that once their membership is larger than the Teachers and Education Workers Union, then it gives them the right to be represented, to be the ones to represent the workers on the councils. Is that not what the act says?
I agree. So they should go through the process. I'm not denying them that. The law says that two people can form a union. So if a union was existing and now a new body emerged under the same undertaking, and you therefore have a greater representation, you have to make a representation to the registrar of trade unions, which is designated as the chief labor officer, and they will go through a process. And after the verification, there will be an issuance. In fact, you will have a registration certificate already permitting you to go about your activities. But if you are to be the one leading the 2 or 3 bodies to a negotiation table, then you'll be issued with the bargaining certificate that permits you to lead, like Nat, like Nagrat and the other concerned
CCT.
teachers have been doing. They come together, they present a common front, and they go about their business. Nobody is fighting each other. Now, but if there is going to be a representation, indeed, the union that has the largest representation in that same establishment is the one that will have to be representing, except that there are one or two other areas and they have to send, let's say, 2 or 3 representatives. You can, for the sake of understanding and solidarity, select 2 and 1, so you have a good representation there. If it's only 1, it should be understood that whether you were there 10,000 years before the other one came, is now the leader of the team. But these things are not strikeable things. They are not things to be fought about. This is a localized thing. And therefore, you must, and the HR team there could have helped. If they were unable to help, they could have gone to the Ministry of Employment, if you like, or the National Tripartite Committee, even organized labor itself. We must learn to be proactive and help each other in these circumstances.
When it comes to verification, the TEWU-GH argue that the TEWU-TUC is dragging its feet for the verification to be done so that they could know what to be done. I mean, who do we then hold accountable here?
The Chief Labor Officer and his team has a sole responsibility in ensuring that the verification is done. And should anyone refuse to participate, the Chief Labor Officer can proceed to have the verification done. And when it is done, a report will be written and shared, and the National Labor Commission will be seized with the same. And therefore, at a time like this, they will have to be invited by the National Labor Commission, who will be the final arbiter in this matter under Section 164 of the Labor Act. And its decision will be final and binding on everybody. We don't need to go on strike. In fact, in this country, by our labor law and best practices, we shouldn't even have one single labor confusion in this country. I'm surprised that we are still in this old adversarial style, very anachronistic.
Okay. Hold the line for me. Let me bring in Mr. Ofosu Asamoah. He is former Executive Secretary of the National Labor Commission. Grateful to you, sir, for joining. How do you expect the Labor Commission to go about this? We understand that they will be in a meeting with the striking TEWU-GH members. What's your expectation of this particular, how this meeting will go? Okay, we've lost him there, but let me bring back, and still on this particular matter, and take you back to the interaction that we were having earlier. Austin Game is still with us on. Austin, Mr. Game. So I mean, the point is we want to understand how this particular meeting between the Labor Commission and the striking union will go. What is your expectation of how this meeting could go today?
Well, to be very honest, it's simple but not simpler.
Okay.
And I know them; they have very competent people there, at least to the best of my knowledge, to be able to address this issue. They would be demanding from them the necessary documentation. If you are the registered trade union there, you will have your rules, you will have your constitution, you will have a certificate issued by the Registrar of Trade Unions, and the numbers that you possess. The list will be there. They can still verify it from the HR department of the university, who deduct union dues from the paychecks of the people. And so everything is there clear. Maybe let me chip in this. When it was becoming a bit of concern to the unions between NAT, NAGRAT at the time, their officers, international officers from Benin came to Ghana. They were in my office as a private person at the time, and I gave them a guide as to how they can go about it. And they resolved the matter. Nobody heard anything. They didn't go on strike. They did it in a very civilized way. So clearly, I think that they didn't help themselves. This is a higher learning institution, and therefore we expect that they could have consulted even the legal department of the university. They would have guided them, because it's the same thing, is absolutely clear in the law. So I think that the Labor Commission will easily go through this with them and point to the two sides. This is the document, what is yours, we provide it, and the matter will be resolved in a matter of minutes. I don't think it's going to be a major issue. And I'm surprised that they did not take the steps they should take in the first place. I'm sure the commission will have to query them as to why they should hold a press conference announcing a threat of strike when there is a body that they could have gone to. This is how, unfortunately, we are trying to develop this nation.
Well, sir, they said they wrote to them
that they want to take an action without going through the process. This is an old, archaic method of doing things.
Okay. Well, let me bring in the former Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, Ofosu Asamoah. Mr. Asamoah, I'm grateful for joining us. Now, you've been at this before. What could be happening between this meeting between the Labour Commission and the striking members of TEWU-GH?
Good morning. And like I said earlier in your interview with me, if TEWU, that is a tertiary education, of course, it's a breakaway of the original TEWU.
Yeah.
TUC. If they are right to believe that they are larger numbers, they have to the labor for a head count. So with the head, if they are then they have proper to be represented.
Well, Mr. Asamoah, unfortunately, your line keeps tripping. It's making it difficult for us to stay with you.
What I'm saying is that if the TEWU tertiary,
yeah,
right, with a breakaway from the TEWU TUC, they have to apply to the National Labour Commission, and after a head count by the what do you call it, the chief labour officer, then after that they could be given the bargaining certificate.
So at today's meeting, is it your expectation that this will be the center of attraction?
It's not a center of attraction. It's for the commission to make a declaration or make a point.
Okay. So if it declares that the one of the unions has the larger number, then it means that particular one will be given the bargaining.
The commission will not make a declaration. The commission will make an order.
Okay.
For the chief labor officer to conduct a head count. And based on the numbers that he comes up with, then the commission can make a declaration.
Okay. So if the commission makes that order today, will it also add an order for the strike to come to an end?
But certainly, once the commission sees with the matter, the strike must cease.
Yeah, yesterday when we spoke to the TEWU-GH, they didn't indicate that the strike is ending. They acknowledged that there is a meeting.
Because they have not been directed by the commission. Once the commission makes an order, once the commission orders the chief labor officer, right, to conduct a head count, immediately, since the commission is pleased with the matter, and immediately the strike.
Oh, okay. All right. So if after the head count is still with TEWU-TUC, then TEWU-GH will not have that right to ask to be represented, to be the ones to represent workers.
It will depend on the results. It will depend on the results. Perhaps TEWU-GH might have the number. And then if it is TEWU-GH, or what do you call it, TEWU tertiary, which has the number, it will depend on the outcome.
So, I mean, this is not the first time this is happening. You've been there before. You face several of this. How must the state approach this?
Did you say how much the state?
I mean, I'm talking about Labor Commission. They're representing the state. How must they approach this?
Unfortunately, I'm not the commission.
Oh, no. I'm just asking that since you've been there, we want your experience. I mean, you've been there for several times. So we want to understand, I mean, with your experience.
The commission is made up of 7 members, right? Mm-hmm. So I cannot take what their decision will be. So let's wait for them to appear before the commission.
Okay, all right. Let's see how that one goes. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining. But I still have Austin Game with me. So, Mr. Game, I mean, when this meeting comes to an end and the labor officer, the chief labor officer makes the order, that brings to an end the strike. Will it be compulsory for these members of TEWU-GH to then obey and go by the order, or they have the liberty to either obey or not?
And they have no choice. Indeed, it's only in Ghana here that we behave this way. When an order is made by an independent, and let me confirm that the National Labour Commission is absolutely an independent commission. It's not even to be equated to a commission like Electoral Commission. It's superior in every respect of it. And the members of the commission are not appointed by the president of Ghana. They are nominated by the respective bodies. It's a tripartism arrangement so that employers have 2 representatives, unions have 2 representatives, government has 2 representatives. The chairman of the commission is a product of labor and employers. Government has no right to be the one providing the chairman. The president only fulfill Article 195 by commissioning them into office. And that's the end of it. They work independently. They can summon even the office of the president, except the president himself. And the office must obey the directive of the commission. Whoever feel aggrieved about the directive of the commission will have to be in obedience and go and contest it at the High Court or the Appeals Court, because the commission sits as a High Court. So clearly, in this country, we are only being disobedient to the rules and procedures as contained in the law. It's quite unfair to the nation and to investors and to the nation as a whole. So when the commission gives an order or a directive, they will have to be in absolute obedience to it. And I think they will obey it.
Okay. But stay with me. Let me bring in Charles Arthur. He is the KNUST chapter chairman of the TEWU-GH. Ms. Arthur, thanks for joining us. I know you are preparing to go into this meeting today. As you move into this meeting, what's your expectation? Ms. Arthur, I want to find out from you, as you prepare to go into this meeting today, what expectations do you have of the meeting you're entering?
Our expectations?
Yeah.
Yes, our expectations are 2. That 1, Professor Prajinapo, GTEC has written elected to the universities, that they should allow the minority to go to council. That letter must be put on hold because it has already been put on.
Are you saying as you go into this meeting today?
And then 2, all go to verification and do the verification. So these are the 2 things that we're expecting.
So are you saying as you move into this meeting today, you are expecting to receive a letter, a notice that the GTEC, has written a letter to the universities to say that decision to allow the minority to go into the councils has been suspended?
It must be suspended, yes. It must be put on hold because he has already done that. And he later on unilaterally lifted that ban. And we are saying that he is the one who engaged said that we should be meeting, which of course he even scheduled a meeting on 26th June. And then that meeting never came on. And then he lifted that ban. Meanwhile, we had the meeting and he said that he will not lift that ban until and unless we come to amicable solution on this matter. So we think that's a bad fit.
But this meeting has been called by the Labour Commission, not GTEC.
Yes, so Labour Commission has the power. It's a high court. They have the power. The GTEC has what the GTEC is doing. That's why the strike came on. So that we expect the Labour Commission to give orders that look, if you have started the process, you are meeting with them. There should be wider consultation. Stop, because at the time that you are lifting that ban, you haven't had a wider consultation with the stakeholders, including us and including our the other side, which he didn't do it. So the Labour Commission to give that order. And when they have given that orders, then they also order that in order to cut everything short, we go to the what we call it. We go to the Labour Department for verification, so that this matter, it will bring this matter to a close, and then the strike.
If you do not get the 2 orders, what will you do?
No, we must get it, because if we do not get it, then how are we going to also stop what we are doing?
Okay.
Because the 2 orders we have not gotten it. That's why we are doing what we are doing. So for us to stop what we are doing, that it's not difficult thing to get that, and we expect that must be given, and then we stop what we are doing. Then we go table, and then we sit and look at the matter. That is the best way. You understand? But if we are being told to stop what we are doing, and then others should continue doing what they are doing, then fairness and justice has not been served, and that will not go on well with us.
What if the Labour Commission says we'll grant you option number 2, that go and complete the verification process, but allow the minority to still be on council after the process, then the status quo will change? Won't you accept that?
No, but my brother, the confusion, all this confusion has come as a result of the minority representing the majority, which has never happened in this country before. You understand? So why do we have to still maintain that?
But at this juncture, we've not verified to know whether or not, according to you, the TEWU-TUC is in the minority, as you put it.
He has the figure, so he knows, because he requested the universities to supply his office with the numbers of both unions. You understand? Which some of the university, which clearly, for example, KNUSC, we have 785, and then TEWU-TUC have 123. He has that. You go to UGS, they are more than 400, and then the TEWU-TUC is 14. Winneba is more than 400. TEWU-TUC is 10. So those information is routine, and it's the reason why we are saying that quickly we have to do verification to bring this matter to an end.
What about UCC and Legon? What's the situation like?
UCC is TEWU-TUC, and then Legon is also TEWU-TUC. So we initially, even when we met with him with the TEWU-TUC, we had a meeting with Professor Jinapo. We said that Professor Jinapo, we in this country called Ghana, is minority down and the majority leads. As a result of that, where the TEWU-TUC have majority, they should lead. Where we also have majority, we should also lead. Then it's amicable. You understand? That's what we go, and in fact we wrote to this to that effect, and served him and served the relevant stakeholders. That's our position. We don't expect us to go to Legon where our members are few, or UCT where our members are few, to go and say that by all means, when we count everything, it will come to us. Therefore, we should go to council. We said no, that can't be. Okay. It is against the majority which are enshrined in our norms and values.
I'm grateful to you, Mr. Charles Arthur, for joining us here. Mr. Game, if you listen to Charles Arthur, it's either they get a 2 or not. And again, if you look at what he's saying, TEWU-TUC has members on UCC campus as well as Legon. I mean, how do we play that?
Time is time.
The law is very clear. It is written in black and white as to regarding the processes they are to go through. Indeed, it's about union. Therefore, what is the total number of the members of the union in Ghana pertaining to TEWU, whether tertiary or Ghana? And the numbers will be available from the HR office to be available, made available by the union itself that is forming the local chapter, and by the HR who has the final document, because they pay them every month. Submit these things to the labor department, but they will have to go and do physical verification to ascertain the fact that these are the same as submitted by the various groups. When that is completed, the one that has the majority will now be holding the bargaining certificate, whilst all of them have their registration certificate, even if your number is 2. Now, the fact that somebody has majority in Legon does not mean that they will hold the bargaining certificate in Legon. It is the same certificate that to lead them to the place. Only they will have to work collaboratively. That is why they should not be threatening each other, fighting each other. They are interdependent. They are going to be working together. I think it's just lack of understanding and appreciation.
I want to let you go, but just a clarification here. So the verification should not be done university specific, but it should be nationwide. So TEWU, TUC members throughout Ghana, TEWU-GH members throughout Ghana, and then you determine who has the majority. Is that it?
Precisely so. Even though it will be done in Lagos separately, in Winneba separately, in Kumasi separately, etc., etc., at the end of the day, the combined effect of the number will determine who the majority is. That's the whole thing.
Okay.
That's how NAGRAD and the other consent, that's how they exist. And they are working collaboratively, though they have their own separate management systems in place.
Okay.
When it comes to leading who is to lead in the negotiation, even though they all put together information, not leads, but when they go, they have spokespersons and they speak, and they work collaboratively.
Okay.
I've worked with them together.
Okay. Grateful to you, Austin Game, for your thought here. And Austin Game is a labor consultant there. Away from that, Ghana's road sector is drowning in a 21 billion cedi debt crisis, with government owing contractors for completed project. Roads Minister Kwame Govins Agbaja reviewed the alarming figure, describing the situation as dire. To mitigate the crisis, government plans to release 4 billion cedis to revive a stalled project. The minister attributed the collapse of road project to delayed payment to contractors who often take loans to pre-finance public works. Now, the critical example is the Ofanko and Sawam Road, which was supposed to be completed in July 2024, but remains in a deplorable state, plagued by potholes and breakdowns, causing frustration for commuters. Emmanuel Jivenu was there and has more in this report.
This is no ordinary road. It is one of Ghana's most critical corridors, the 37-kilometer stretch linking the capital Accra to Nsawam and further into the middle and northern belts. From yams in Yendi to tomatoes in Techima, this is the route they take. But for years, this road has been in a deplorable state. The Ofanko Nsawam Road was earmarked for reconstruction in July 2022. The government allocated $346 million. Completion was promised by July 2024. It's 1 year past the deadline, and commuters are still battling the pothole-ridden stretch and navigating gaping craters. Ridwan Kasim Jamal is a driver and should be in Burkina Faso by now. Instead, he's been stuck here for the past 2 weeks.
My car just twists left and right and my cross members broke it. That's why that my car has been imbalanced like this. So it's the road that is not good. It's not just because of the load or something, because the load is not any load that I have carried. This is where I've been staying. I've been sleeping inside the car tonight. At the daytime, then I'll be going and sitting over there because of the ducks. My car owner said that he's bringing in our new truck to come and offload the car. So the goods that is in the car, we cannot touch it unless the custom come and remove the device. There is a device at the back of the car. So that's what we are waiting for.
Just a few meters ahead, Another truck is stuck. Another driver stranded.
It's our bearing that broke. And it's not because of anything. It's because of the road. That's why the bearing do that. And normally, before this thing will stop, unless the road is smooth for us, around 10 o'clock in the night. So we sleep here before this morning. And the fitter come and remove all the things before we see that this is the things that happen. Oh, it is worried because the time that I moved from Tema, if not because of this, like by now I've been discharging the load. But because of this thing, the time is going. And the container at any time, it can go demurrage. I will pay extra money before dropping it.
My name is Ishaq. We are from Tema. We are going to Kumasi. We load water. The matter of the road is not good. We reach here and then our gear was spoiled. Since 3 days today, we don't know where to go. The dust, we can't sleep if you are here anytime. If you even live here, sometimes the scrap speakers, they will come and pick some goods from your things. So after you finish, you will come and you lost something before you will go and buy it again. And that's why we are here. But because about the road, they should check and do the road for us.
We are quantity. Ama yitlela no ebebie ana se 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 na ya no yentimi emfanko ana ma se se ene sa de obekokwohwe na ye ka ba ko na ho na onye load no omo de no na ba no ma yi load na ma ono de sa load ne ko yitlela no post ni bia bubu ana film no ase film na e wa ase na anka se dade na bu.
Isolated patches of asphalt, a few raised culverts, some drainage works along the shoulders. From Ofanko through Pokwase, bits of dual carriageway have been laid, but not fully connected. Around Amasaman and Midye, concrete drainage snake along the roadside, unfinished and exposed. All along the road, the stories are the same. Potholes, repairs, and endless delays.
Well, at a news conference on Tuesday, Senior Project Manager for the Ofankon Road, Engineer Abdullahi Mahama, announced a new completion deadline of 6 weeks, pending any unforeseen setbacks. Meanwhile, Sector Minister Kwame Govins Agboja disclosed that government plans to release 4 billion cedis starting this month to settle part of the 21 billion owed to contractors.
On the bigger issue of how do we address the payment to contractors, since we have already admitted. If you listen to His Excellency the President of the Republic yesterday, he indicated that towards the end of this month, the Finance Minister would be taking steps to retire some of the debt owed contractors so that they can go back to site and complete the work. On record, we are intending to pay some 4 billion Ghana cedi towards retiring part of the 21 billion from this month. I have no doubt that will be on record to be one of the biggest payments at a particular time to make sure that we are serious about clearing the debt and then also paying for or making provision to start the new works we are talking about. It is not appropriate for us to basically sit unconcerned for this to happen since we have very scarce resources. So it is very clear that the Finance Minister was doing the right thing by making sure that when we have certificates at Road Fund, those certificates are not, repeated in the books of Ghana government at another level where we'll end up paying twice for the same project. So there's no doubt that government is committed and will continue to prioritize paying for road works done.
Well, we've been joined by Nasser Ahmad Yate. He's head public relations of the Ministry of Roads and Highways. Grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, 4 billion out of 21 billion. How does the government intend to finance the remainder of the 21 billion after the 4 billion?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. You know, the government has made a pledge to ensure that all ongoing road projects will be completed. And His Excellency, the President, when he addressed the Council of State the other day, made a promise that by the end of this month, about 4 billion will start paying the contractors. I think it's a priority of the government to ensure that road construction goes on. And so the ministry is in touch with the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Finance has assured the ministry that payment to contractors is the priority of this government, and they will definitely find the money to pay contractors. I must put on record that the 4 billion that will be released by the end of this month is going to be the biggest one-time payment in terms of quantum of amount to contractors. And so it shows the commitment by government to make sure that we get our contractors back on site, and so that we can see some improvement in our road network. At the end of the day, what we want to do as a ministry, or what the government is aiming to do, is to ease the inconvenience faced by motorists when they apply our roads, due to the fact that most of the contractors have abandoned site.
Okay. This 4 billion, we understand, is to revive stalled project. So which project is this 4 billion going to?
Generally, we are looking at paying part of the debt that we owe contractors across board. So generally, that's what we are going to do. But the minister has made the point that obviously contractors who have stood by the ministry within this difficult time and have stayed on site and continue to work even though we owe them, they will be given some priority to ensure that they continue to show good faith with government. But generally speaking, we are going to look at our entire debt portfolio and see how best we can meet each contractor halfway in terms of the amount that we owe them. Okay,
so you're saying that the 4 billion, it is out of that you see how you can meet every contractor halfway in terms of the debt, right?
Yes, obviously we are trying to offset some of our debt to the contractors and get them to mobilize back to site. I mentioned earlier to you that the 4 billion out of 21 billion may seem very small, but in terms of the road sector, in terms of payment to contractors, it is one of the biggest amounts ever released by government for the payment of road contractors. So it shows the commitment on the part of government to ensure that we clear this debt, and so that most of the ongoing road projects can be completed within record time.
Okay. Now, the Ofanko Nsawam Road, the consultant says it will now be completed within 6 weeks. Do you have the same briefing?
No, that is not. That is a misinformation. The contractor didn't say it will be completed within 6 weeks. In fact, that project got stalled because of debt, because we owe the contractor. We owe the contractor almost, if you put together certificate that he has raised and the one that is yet to be satisfied, we owe the contractor almost $17 million on that project. And so the minister engaged the contractor. The contractor has agreed that even though we owe, he's going to mobilize back to site as at yesterday. And then it will take him about 6 weeks. It will take him about 6 weeks to remedy those sections of the road that are very bad and causing a lot of distress to the motoring public. Okay. So the 6 week timeline is in relation to the setting of that road or that stretch that is very bad and causing so much discomfort to our citizens. And that's what he has pledged, that he will take about 6 weeks to remedy those portions of the road. Okay. And let me also put on record that the contractor is going back to site, even though government still owe the contractor. But we've assured the contractor that by the end of this month, once we start paying, definitely some payments will come their way.
All right. I mean, we also hear that. What's the update on the Mankesim all the way to Kaswa? What's the update on it?
You are referring to the Kaswa-Winneba Road?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well, that project is progressing very well. The contractor is still on site, and those who apply the road will see that almost every day there are different new developments on that road. So we don't have much problem on that road.
Okay. All right.
And I should put on record that that road is also a DOD-funded project. So it will mean that government will have to find money to pay the contractor. But this is a contractor who also has stood by the government or by the ministry in times of difficulties. He didn't abandon site. He has continued to work. And so definitely, and that stretch of the road is very, very important to the ministry. And so definitely we'll be looking at the contractor, getting him some money to make sure that that project is completed within record time.
Okay. Now, I got this scoop, so let me find out from you. I'm told that government is considering dualizing the road from Inchaban all the way to Cape Coast. Is that true?
So then the government is considering dualizing the road from Winneba Junction to Cape Coast. But that project will come under the government Big Push initiative. And we are expecting that somewhere before the end of this year, somewhere ending of this month, early next month, His Excellency the President should be announcing or launching the Big Push initiative. But from Winneba Junction to Cape Coast is a project that comes under the Big Push. And the President has made it clear that all the Big Push projects he wants are his special projects, and he wants them completed within his term of office. And so once we are able to start this year, there's a full commitment to ensure that before the end of the term of His Excellency the President, these projects are brought to a completion.
All right. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Nasir Ahmad Yate speaks for the Roads and Highways Ministry. We'll take a break here to bring you business with Darryl Kwao.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The 28th annual CEO survey published by auditing and accounting firm PwC has revealed that 70% of chief executive officers in Ghana are confident of economic growth in 2025. The survey further showed that 48% of CEOs in Ghana are confident about their company's revenue growth this year. Here's more.
The report surveyed 4,701 CEOs in 109 countries and territories, including Ghana, from October 1 through November 8, 2024. According to the survey, while 77% of CEOs in Ghana believe Ghana's economy would grow in 2025, a considerably reduced proportion representing 48% are as bullish about their own company's revenue growth in the same year. Ernest Ford, country senior partner at PwC Ghana, Vish Ashabo explained that the survey shows a clear line of sight into the minds of CEOs, providing deep insight into what keeps them awake at night, as well as offers them hope about the future. He disclosed that the important issues on the minds of Ghanaian CEOs include economics, geopolitics, AI, and climate change. He mentioned, for example, that CEOs in Ghana are facing a host of near or short-term shocks and long-term development, the effects of which are slowly felt, but which impact on the future of businesses and their customers are no less profound. He, however, advised CEOs and other peer business leaders to not be complacent with the progress and successes they achieve in the short term. Meanwhile, the global and regional figures in the report were weighted proportionally to country nominal GDP, so the CEO's views broadly representative across all major regions.
Now, insurance institutions in Kumasi, the Ashanti Regional Capital, as part of the Insurance Awareness Month, have joined forces for a public walk aimed at promoting the benefits of insurance, encouraging inclusivity, and building public trust in the industry.
The walk, which brought together key players from Ghana's insurance space, emphasized the critical need for Ghanaians to understand their rights and options when engaging insurance companies, especially regarding claims. Ashanti Regional Manager of the National Insurance Commission, Farouk Dramani, underscored the regulator's commitment to protecting policyholders, referencing the legal framework backing that responsibility.
Section 2 of the Insurance Act mandates the Commission to make sure that policyholders are protected. That is the main reason why insurance all over the world has been established. Mr.
Dramani further expressed concern over Ghana's low insurance penetration rates.
Currently, we have the insurance penetration rate hovering around 1% and 1% of the GDP. That is quite low because the average in the West African sub-region is around 3%, and in other parts of the world it's even around 7%. Then the second thing is that the insurance coverage is hovering around 45%. So you can just imagine 45% coverage against 1%. It means we actually have to do a lot more so that we can be able to increase the 1% to a better rate.
One of the major barriers to trust in the industry has been the delay or non-payment of claims. To address this, the Commission has implemented strict guidelines. Once all required documents are received, insurance companies must settle claims within a month or face penalties. To further strengthen accountability, the Ghana Insurers Association has introduced the Complaint Management and Advice Bureau, a customer-focused initiative that allows the public to report unresolved claims at no cost. Ernestina Amankra, head of the technical at the Ghana's Insurers Association, explained.
And we handle claims and complaints from the industry and from the public especially. Anybody that have any claim issues that has not been settled, you come to GIA or you call our toll-free number and then we will attend to you. It is at no cost.
With renewed regulatory commitment and increased public outreach, stakeholders hope these efforts will increase insurance adoption and foster greater confidence in insurance companies among Ghanaians. For Joy News, Erabna Akwi, Kumasi.
All right, that's it for business. Handing you back to Samuel Kujo Brace, who is very much well insured. He's got some more news.
I'm insured. I'm insured. Time now for us to do National Science and Maths quiz. Let's join Adobe Asari, who is in the Central region and monitoring what's happening at the National Science and Maths quiz in that region. Adobe, what more do you have for us today?
Hi, Brace. How are you doing? Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you. I mean, I enjoyed the drama with your name this morning.
Okay. So the Central Championship of the 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz kicks off today. Now, yesterday we wrapped up the regional qualifiers with Infantiman, Agri Memorial, and University Practice emerging winners. They booked their only 3 slots for the day, and they were in the 50s, which is quite impressive. Infantiman won with the highest mark, 56. Agri Memorial followed with 55, and UP 54. Now today, 13 schools who qualified in the regional qualifiers are being joined by 6 seeded schools, making 19, and they're fighting for only 4 slots. Now, the much anticipated contest of the day is the second contest, because the current regional champions are facing off with the current national champions in the second contest. So you have Adisadel College and Infantiman School, the Infantiman School in the same contest. Yes. In the first contest, hold on for me. In the first contest, you have St. Augustine's College. A few minutes ago, they had heated up the place with several German songs. I was enjoying it myself. They are here right behind me. I believe they want to say hi. Hi. Okay, so these are St. Augustine's boys. They are here in their numbers, and they are here to cheer their boys on. So it already feels exciting. Today's contest is going to be very heated. In the first contest, St. Augustine's is meeting with Nyakrom, Raise Your School. They are here with St. Augustine's in the first contest. Then we have Infantiman Girls, Obriyeboa, and Hope College. The second contest is Infantipim, Apam, Adisadel, and Asin State College, and St. Andrews. Now, this one is interesting because aside Adisadel being the regional champions and Infantipim being the national champions, Adisadel is meeting the rival which kicked them out last year in the national, that's Apam Senior High. And so it's going to be very intense. Speaking to them earlier, all of them are saying, some of the schools are saying this year we'll see the finger of God. Others are saying we'll see the hand of God. Others are saying we'll see the leg of God. But at the end of the day, we get to know which body part of God we are going to see. So, 19 schools, 14 slots. 4 slots, sorry. Which 4 schools are winning these 4 slots? So by the end of the day, we get to know which schools are going to emerge winners and will battle for the crown of the regional championship title tomorrow.
Okay. Which auditorium is this competition being held?
Okay, this is happening at UCC SGS Auditorium. So SGS Auditorium on the UCC campus.
All right, it was good you put that there so people know where you are. I'm grateful to you. All the best.
Exactly.
Enjoy yourself, yeah? That's Adobe Asari there this morning. There was a Jama in her name. Let's see what will come up from today's competition as well. But to all the contestants, all the best to you. That's how we wrap up the news desk. From us here at Joy News. There's more on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Please do meet again. Join Sweetie Aborchi for the Joy News today at 12 midday. Good morning.